Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Welcome back, ninjas from around the world. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. That's one of my most favorite quotes from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I think it really reshapes how we think about gratitude. Garrett, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving, even though it's not Thanksgiving for us today.
I'm ready, man. I'm cooking a turkey later on just because you said it.
But it is Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is Thanksgiving for everybody listening. And I'm excited. We do this episode. We do it every year.
I think so.
We do it every year, right around this time. This is a great one. I love what you said about it's the ultimate state of receivership, because gratitude is one of those things that when you're in a state of gratitude, you wear it on your sleeve. I love it when people go like, oh, I'm in a crappy mood right now, but I can pull it all together and nobody knows. You can also tell when you're with somebody who's in an ultimate state of gratitude. And it's like, wait.
They're different.
Like there's faking it, and then there's somebody who's really in a state of gratitude. And this is an incredible opportunity that we have in our days, we have in our lives, to really step back and ask ourselves, what are we grateful for? Thanksgiving forces us to do it, to step back and say, what are we grateful for? Well, I guess it doesn't force us. You don't have to do it, but it definitely makes you stop and kind of revisit being in a state of gratitude, or at least what you're grateful for.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. When you bring up like, well, I can pull it together, and yeah, you can cover up certain things, but you cannot pretend to be in a state of gratitude, a true state of gratitude. And I think that's an interesting thing. We bring up gratitude every year at this time. We talk about it a lot throughout the rest of the year as well. But certainly today, us sharing some gratitudes. But Garrett, I was just thinking like maybe we should also talk a little bit about what if we truly infused gratitude into our business? Like what would that truly look like? And how do we maintain that kind of practice and that level of like, okay, absolutely being in a state of wonderful gratitude?
It's funny, Matt, we get to work with enough people, and it's interesting as you work with different clients in any business, be it real estate or any other business, the ones that are on the hunt for business or that think that business is just due to them, compared to the ones that are just in that state of gratitude and absolutely grateful for every single person that comes into their world and so thankful that you have that opportunity to be able to help these people. It's a very different thing when you're talking to somebody. It goes down to that point of when somebody says, I have some in my database, and they went and worked with somebody else, and you can watch the anger come out in somebody. And you're like, you are so far away from a state of being in gratitude around your business to somebody that's like, you know what? They must have been friends with them. Like they must have had a really strong relationship and a strong connection. And I wish them the best in going through the process of selling their home. All right. So who else do I have to call here today? It's a totally different person you're working with. And Matt, you can watch the energy pour off somebody, and that energy contaminates. So this is again, what would the practice look like? What would you do to put yourself in this state of like absolute gratitude with everything going on around you? We have lots of practices in Ninja, from everything from doing your morning gratitudes to affirmations to exercise to, we just did a whole episode on eating right, sleeping right. Like all these things play into taking care of yourself, which allows you to be in this ultimate state of gratitude.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you just highlighted the key connection, or what gratitude is the key to, is that mindset and energy of abundance. Being able to look at a client like that and be like, who else do I have to talk to? That's being in abundance, which comes as a result of being in that state of gratitude. And I think identifying, I like how you brought up health and all this stuff, identifying what's an activity for you that first allows you to settle your mind, allows you to disconnect from all the other things that could be bothering you in that day or that time, in order to then let's quiet the mind from those things so that we can now just shift to let's think about the things we're grateful for. So finding that activity and then looking for a trigger that allows you to think about gratitude, because sometimes it's a hard practice to get into if we're already thinking about all these other things that impact our world, or we're looking at our environment and things are a bit messy, or there's some challenges, or maybe some really, really outrageously hard things like illness or other things that are just so far outside of our control that we just don't understand. Being able to have a trigger to remind yourself of like, well, but there still are things that I can be grateful for right now, this moment. And that can then turn everything around from a mindset perspective to then open the opportunities that are around us for other things.
I have this analogy that just popped into my head. So imagine if you started today and what you programmed into your mind was, I'm going to go out today and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a great job of making sure I don't step in dog crap. I'm going to focus today on, there's lots of dog crap out there in the world, by the way. In my backyard, I've got it, I can go and walk the neighborhood. I can find dog crap all over the place. And all of you, by the way, if I sent you out today to look for dog crap, you can find it. It's out there. Dogs provided all over the place. Some of you are very good dog owners and you pick it up, but not everybody. Some areas you can go to and you can find more dog crap. Like there's places in your town that you can guarantee to find dog crap. But it's a difference in sending your mind out to go look for that or saying, you know what? I'm going to look for flowers today. That's my intention. I'm going to go see how many flowers I can find today. There might be dog crap around the flowers, but we're not worried about that because we're looking for these flowers. And there's beautiful flowers. There's beautiful flowers in the dog park. There's beautiful flowers in my backyard. By the way, loaded with dog crap. I apologize that I'm using this word so much.
Kind of helps the flowers grow in some ways, right?
It really does. It makes beautiful flowers is what it does. I mean, really, the nutrients that it provides is quite incredible. When you're in a state of gratitude, sorry, everyone, when you're in a state of gratitude and you go out there into the world, specifically looking for the beauty and the good things that are around you and the opportunities that are around you, it's a very different mindset. And other than, I know I'm going to find dog crap and it makes me mad when I step in it. It's a very different mindset.
Yeah. Well, and that gets into like the affirmation part of gratitude of, well, what are we telling ourselves all the time? Like I'm always fascinated with people who are like, oh, I constantly talk about, I hate drama. I don't like drama. I never want to be around drama. And they're constantly saying this word drama. And what seems to follow these people around is drama. And it's like, wow, maybe if you stop talking about it so much, then drama wouldn't be around you if you're not looking for it. So and this is where it's like, let's shift to looking for gratitude. So not only a morning practice of what do I want to be grateful for? What am I grateful for? But at the end of the day, asking yourself, what were things that happened for me today that I can be grateful for? And I say happen for you because as soon as you look at the things that happen in life, and this is not a new concept, we've talked about this before too. Tony Robbins has been talking about this. Life does not happen to us, it happens for us. If we take that approach, it's very easy, I think, to find the things that we're grateful for. Does this mean that you're not going to have times where you're upset or you have challenges? No, I was telling Garrett this morning, I'm like, man, I'm frustrated. I'm overwhelmed by these few things, but I can still find things that I'm grateful for, even in that moment. In fact, it helps me get over that frustration a lot faster. And we kind of talked a little bit about that. I'm like, okay, yeah, if I accept these things, great. Let me just accept the crap, the dog crap that's there, and then embrace and find the things that I'm grateful for and find those flowers that are perking up everywhere in our lives. And let's acknowledge that, right?
Well, and it's interesting. So I've got Jocelyn right now, my daughter, went off to college, and she is now back living at home. It was, again, not the right fit for her at this moment in life. And it's interesting to talk to different people about that experience and what this has been. And you can very quickly look at how people are coming from it as a state of gratitude or coming at it as a state of in a very kind of weird way of she must have had this going wrong or this going wrong or this going wrong. And it's really interesting because my state coming from a state of gratitude is she learned more about herself in the last 3 months than she has learned about herself in 18 years. She has learned how to navigate a busy city. She has learned how to negotiate for certain things. She has learned how to get out of her comfort zone and go talk to people about information that she needs to gather to be successful as a human. She made the comment, she says, well, aren't you and mom going to come out and help me pack up my room? No, we're not. We're going to send you a bag. We'll send you an extra bag if you need a bag. And to watch her pack up all of her stuff, clean the room, send me a picture of it looking just beautiful, and to know that she got her Uber herself, got all of her bags to the airport, got them all checked in, negotiated with the clerk there. I look at the last 2 months and where people go oh, I'm sure she'll find her way. Gosh, what a tough time. I look at it as what an incredible couple months that she just had in her world. And the growth, who she's turning into as a person is absolutely amazing to me. And that's the difference of being able to be in that state of gratitude, of being able to look through what has been a very painful couple months for her also. There's been lots of tears and lots of upset and lots of phone calls, like per day, lots of phone calls trying to navigate through this time. But it's a different state to be in when you're in a state of gratitude. And there's many times through these last couple of months that I've been in like oh my gosh, this is a nightmare at the moment. Like, what is going on? But it's interesting to be able to find all the goodness and things that are around you. And so, Matt, I share that story, but like, I do want to transition where we are in this podcast right now to like, what do we do? Like, what do you do to put yourself in a great state of gratitude? I'm happy to share what I do. And then I'd love to share how grateful I am for just things in our world right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, people might be surprised. Like, I don't have a regular gratitude practice at the moment.
You're just naturally this good. I got it.
Part of who I am. I've gone through periods of writing my gratitudes every single day, making sure I wake up and write 3 things that I'm grateful for every morning in a journal. Once that journal gets full and I don't have another one, that's typically when that habit then goes away. I mean, we all struggle with the way habits work, so I'm no different. But one thing that I do, and this took me a long time to get to this point, and it was through habits like writing gratitudes or having gratitude on my calendar or on my alarm clock, or all of those things to remind me to be grateful, has now turned into throughout the entire day, I constantly look for things to acknowledge gratitude about to myself. And a new practice that I'm working on is acknowledging gratitude specifically to people, saying to people, hey, I'm very grateful for you because of X, Y, and Z. That's what I currently do. And I try to do it multiple times a day because I think that just the morning gratitude practice is not enough. We need to practice it every day. So anytime I'm in the grocery store or in the car or doing these things, it's like I'm looking for those things. Hey, what is something that I can acknowledge right now in my life that I can say I'm grateful for? So that's kind of the way I'm doing it right now, Garrett, which I know is a not structured, but that's the way I pull it in because I want to make it more abundant in my life.
You haven't done that to me yet. Should I be concerned? You haven't like reached out to me and told me how grateful you are?
Oh, look at all the handwritten notes that I've written you.
All right, that's true. We're good. No, I think it's interesting. And the word you kept using, which I think is really important, is the word habit. And I think one of the things with being in a state of gratitude is formulating habits in your life that allow you to stay in a state of gratitude. And there's lots of ways to do it. As you said, writing down all your gratitudes and things you're grateful for in your life and what's currently going on. Obviously, giving gratitude to others is huge. Handwritten notes, whatever that looks like to you, whether it's calling and just telling somebody how grateful you are for them as a person in your world. By the way, if you choose to do that, the rewards that you will receive from looking somebody in the eye and telling them how grateful you are that they're part of your life and that you get to share this earth with them, it is extremely powerful. And I would encourage all of you to take the opportunity to do that to the people that are important to you. It means a lot. I'm kind of the same way, Matt. For years, I had very specific things that I did to make sure I stopped to be in a state of gratitude. I've shared with everybody that I had my alarm on my clock that actually says the alarm time goes off and I look at it and it says time to do your gratitude.
That's when I started doing it. You taught me that trick and I was like, this is amazing. I can just rename the alarm on my phone and boom, pops up in the morning and says gratitude.
Yep. And so I think like we have these things to like coax us into doing it, but like the best is once you create a habit out of it, because then it's not something you have to remind yourself all the time. That is just your MO. You wake up in the morning and you get this nice opportunity to just stop and be like, what around me am I grateful for right now? I don't need the alarm to start that for me. It's just the same way as I wake up and I make a cup of tea. That's what I do. It's my habit. It's how I work. It's how I start every single morning in my life. You have these habits that you start to build and all of a sudden you just stop. And I stop multiple times a day and just look at my surroundings. It doesn't matter where I'm at, but I look at my surroundings and just go like, take this moment in, all these things that are happening around me, all these people that are interacting around me, the restaurant that I'm currently sitting at, the people that I get to sit with and share that time with. what a great, crazy moment. Like, this is my life. This is my world right now. And it might be sitting at a brewery, just having a beer with somebody. But like, this is me right now, middle of November, 2022. This is my world, my shared experiences that I'm having with all these people. Take it all in. And I think all that stuff helps with just kind of raising your energy up and acknowledging how great every moment is. That's for me. That's what I do. It's just kind of a conscious thing that I always kind of implement into every single day. And sometimes I do it more often than others, but it's just a cool moment just to stop, back up for a second and just look around. There's a lot of good stuff happening around every single one of you.
There really is. And so I love hearing about your practices and how you do it. And I'd love to hear what other people do too. If you want to comment when this episode gets posted of like how you do your gratitudes. But I would definitely encourage everybody, like there's other elements of gratitude as well, more and beyond just saying, this is what I'm grateful for, being in the present moment, particularly holidays, right? We all, oh man, I got to see this family, got to see this family. And we start to dread these things and we almost create the opposite of gratitude before things happen. And it's like, well, of course those experiences go poorly because we're expecting them to be poor. Now, I know we can't change the way other people are. And you're like, I just know Uncle Joe is going to say something that's just going to set me off. It's like, he might, but you get to determine whether or not you want to be grateful for these moments and be able to be grateful for your ability to respond versus react. Grateful for the moment that at least you're there alive, sharing family together. And maybe it's not exactly where you want to be. And this is a component of gratitude that some people don't connect with, which is gratitude does not equal complacency or mediocrity or accepting this is just how it is. Gratitude is the acknowledgement of the wonderful things that are around us so it can put us in this state of receivership, this state of abundance that will attract incredible things our way. And I can, Garrett, I know that you can do this too. I can look at periods of my life or a year where I'm like, hey, this period of time, I was definitely more grateful. I was definitely more present. I was more responsive than reactive with the people around me, and business would grow during those times. Health and fitness would improve over those times versus times where maybe I was struggling with finding things that I was grateful for. I was reactive. I was maybe not accessing those nicer emotions, so to speak. Business wasn't as good during those times. I would challenge everybody to go back and look at that too and say, okay, now let me figure out how do I apply that to every day? Because if we want more in our lives, which I think we all do, and if we want to give more in our lives, which I hope that we all want to do, gratitude is the access point. That's the door that we all look at that we need to open up in order to get to the other side of all of those things, Garrett. And I love this topic. That's why I think we work together really well too, Garrett. I got to say, like, there's a lot of great energy that comes off of you that I get to share in. From when we started this podcast, when we started working together, I was just grateful to have met somebody that I bond with, that we kind of have a good personality match together. And I think that helps us put on a good show and enjoy each other's company and work well together.
Thank you for sharing that. Same goes towards, in your direction. And I want to say that what we have would never work if one of us was not grateful for every moment that we get to spend with each other. And Matt and I talk a lot. There's days that Matt and I sit down to record a podcast and we just talk. And we're like, well, that never got recorded. Like, let's move on to next week and we'll get something recorded then, because we enjoy each other so much. We enjoy the time, we enjoy the conversations. But I think it's mutual, Matt, that like what this has turned into and where we're at is really based on just being grateful to spend time with somebody that I truly resonate with. It's been a fun run, man. This has been great. And I'm excited where it is. I'm super grateful for everybody that tunes in and listens to this. The conversations I have with people now is funny. When we first started this, and you'd have somebody that goes like, oh yeah, I've heard of your podcast, to the point now of like talking to somebody on the phone the other day and they're like, your voice sounds really familiar. And the minute you're like, well, I have a podcast, like, I knew it. I knew it was you. And like all this energy and excitement that comes out of somebody, like I am grateful to cause that kind of energy. Like that for me is like so exciting to see that energy come out of people and watch their levels raise. Dude, I'm grateful to be here doing this with you. Grateful for the podcast, grateful for Ninja Coaching and what we've been able to do and help people for so many years now. Gosh, coming up on 18 years that we've been doing this. At least I've been doing it. It's crazy. This is a wonderful world, man. Wonderful people out there. And I will say this, I tell us we have new coaches come in all the time. And I'm like, I'm going to send you opportunities to coach people, and we're going to help you find people to coach. It's funny, when they first start, they forget that we work with the coolest people on the planet. Like, we work with ninjas. And when these opportunities come in and we get to work with these people, it's not like, oh man, hard sell, hard working, trying to get this person to see. People come to us that are the most grateful, loving, want to build their business, want to go to higher level, want to serve their people better. And as new coaches come in, they're like, we work with the nicest people. And I'm like, I know, that's what I was telling you. Like, this world that we've created, Larry Kendall's created it. All the instructors out there that teach ninja all over the United States, they've created this environment where we attract in the nicest people in the world. It's amazing. I guess I can end it there. I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you.
I echo all of that, Garrett. I'm grateful for everybody who's tuning in, and wish everybody a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving if you're listening to this on the day of its release, and hope that you had a great Thanksgiving if you are listening to it after, and hope that you guys have an amazing December month coming up, enjoying all of the wonderful things that will be in your world and acknowledging those things as well. And so thank you, everybody.
Appreciate all of you. Thank you. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like more, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com.
There you will also find links for more information about ninja selling and coaching. Have an incredible day.